All right, let's dive right into this highly actionable explainer where we distill the powerful concepts of the One-Minute Manager into a framework you can literally start using today. Because, let's face it, every single day, countless leaders struggle with the exact same pain point. How on earth do you get results without burning out your team? And how do you genuinely care for people without sacrificing those results? It's a massive balancing act. And honestly, it leaves so many managers just completely exhausted. Our source material follows this bright young man on a global search for a solution to this very problem. He travels the world, interviewing leaders from all walks of life, but he keeps finding people who are, well, kind of only half a manager. That is until he stumbles upon a local leader known simply as the One-Minute Manager, who gives him and us a remarkably simple yet profoundly effective system.
So the core philosophy that anchors this entire approach translates to something incredibly simple but really profound. People who feel good about themselves produce good results. I mean, think about your own life for a second. When do you actually do your best work? It's almost always when you're feeling confident, valued, and really positive about your own capabilities. As a leader, your ultimate job is to foster an environment where people feel secure enough to do their absolute best work. Because true sustainable productivity, it's a direct byproduct of human well-being.
To get us there, here is our roadmap. We've got 6 key areas to cover. We'll start with the Capable Manager Puzzle. Then we'll run through the 3 secrets: 1-minute goals, 1-minute praisings, and 1-minute reprimands. After that, we'll unpack exactly why these secrets are so effective. And finally, we'll wrap up with how you become the next 1-minute manager.
Okay, part 1, the Capable Manager Puzzle. We're starting with this classic dichotomy that almost every leader faces. You've got the autocratic manager on one side, totally results-focused, ruthless about getting things done. The company wins, but the employees lose. Morale completely plummets because people just feel like tiny cogs in a machine, and that inevitably leads to burnout and high turnover. On the flip side, you have the democratic, or the nice manager. They are highly people-focused, the employees love them, but the organization loses because efficiency drops and critical deadlines are completely blown. So the ultimate goal of our 1-minute mindset is to become a true hybrid manager, one where both the organization and the people win simultaneously.
Moving on to part 2. Secret number 1, 1-minute goals.
Now, the term 1 minute here is actually symbolic. It's really all about immediate clarity. The idea is that no one should ever be left guessing about what they're supposed to be doing. Forget the massive, heavy training manuals. Instead, you apply the 80-20 rule. You focus strictly on the 20% of goals that yield 80% of the results, which is usually just 3 to 6 key priorities. You write each goal on a single sheet of paper, kept strictly under 250 words. The language has to be concrete and behavioral, meaning you literally describe what the desired outcome looks like in practice. Because it's so incredibly concise, an employee can take just 1 minute, literally 60 seconds, to regularly review their performance against these goals and instantly see if their daily actions match the desired target.
Part 3. Secret number 2. 1-minute praisings.
This completely flips traditional feedback on its head. The goal is simple: help people reach their full potential. And how do you do that? You catch them doing something right. Instead of the standard corporate habit of leaving people totally alone and then just zapping them for their mistakes at an annual review, we want to proactively catch them succeeding. Most managers kind of act like referees, right? They're just constantly blowing the whistle when there's a foul. But a 1-minute manager actively monitors new employees specifically to catch them doing something right from the very start. It builds confidence immediately and shifts the whole dynamic of the workplace from fear to empowerment. So, practically speaking, how do you deliver this so it actually feels genuine and impactful? First off, tell them up front you're going to provide feedback. Just be honest from day one. Second, praise them immediately when they do something right. Do not wait for a quarterly review. Third, be highly specific about what they did well so they know you aren't just giving them empty corporate flattery. Fourth, and honestly, this is the hardest part for a lot of us, just pause. Let the silence hang for a few seconds to let that positive feeling truly sink in. And finally, step 5, genuinely encourage them to keep up the great work.
All right, part 4. Secret number 3, 1-minute reprimands.
But what happens when someone messes up? If they know their goals, they have the skills, but they still drop the ball, how do we handle it without completely destroying their morale? The absolute brilliance of this reprimand is its duality. The first half is strict, but the second half is kind. You are critiquing the behavior with strictness, but you're fiercely protecting the human being with kindness. In the first half, you are immediate and direct. You deliver it right away, focus strictly on the incorrect behavior, state your feelings, whether that's frustration or anger, and then you pause. You let a slightly uncomfortable silence hang in the air to let the reality of the mistake sink in. But then, right when the tension peaks, comes the magical second half. You completely shift gears to being kind. You reaffirm their intrinsic value. You offer a supportive gesture, reminding them that they are a fantastic addition to the team, which is exactly why this specific behavior was so disappointing. You separate the person from the bad behavior. And here's the kicker. When the reprimand is over, it is permanently over.
Part 5. Why are these secrets effective? Let's dig into the underlying psychology here. Think about how absurd it is to ask people to perform without clear visibility. Imagine going bowling. You roll the ball, it goes down the lane, and then it completely disappears behind a curtain. You hear a crash, but you have literally no idea how many pins fell down. Would you keep playing that game? Absolutely not. But that is exactly how most employees feel at work. Or think about animal training. How do you teach a giant whale to jump out of the water over a high rope? You definitely don't just suspend the rope 10 feet in the air and yell, "Jump!" The whale would have no clue what you want. Just like that bowler needs to see the pins fall, your team desperately needs to see their impact. There's a core philosophy here that translates perfectly to feedback is the breakfast of champions. Without feedback, without knowing if the ball actually hit the pins, human motivation just dies. People inherently need to see the results of their actions. The traditional annual review is like the bowler rolling the ball, waiting 12 whole months, and then a referee stepping out from behind the curtain to say, "Hey, you missed 8 pins a year ago." That's incredibly demotivating. We need immediate, constant feedback.
Whether you're training a whale to jump or a baby to walk, the secret sauce is continuous, escalating praise for small steps. To train the whale, step 1 is setting a baseline goal. They put the rope at the very bottom of the pool. Every time the whale simply swims over it, it gets fed. Step 2, you catch them doing it almost right and you praise the effort. So you gradually raise the bar. If the whale goes under, it gets nothing. If it goes over, it gets fed. Step 3, you keep raising the bar higher and higher. Step 4, you celebrate when the ultimate goal is achieved. It's exactly how we teach children to walk. When a baby wobbles and falls, we don't yell at them. We clap and cheer because they tried. We praise the almost right, and that specific encouragement is what eventually gets them running.
Now there is a golden rule of connection here that you absolutely have to remember. When you touch, don't take, period. Any emotional or physical connection must be about supporting them, not demanding something for yourself. The source material highlights that offering a supportive gesture, like touching an employee on the shoulder or shaking their hand during a praising or a reprimand, can be incredibly powerful. But it only works if they know, without a doubt, that you genuinely care about their success. People have a highly attuned radar for manipulation. If you are connecting just to take advantage of them, they will know. When you connect, it must only be to give support and encouragement.
Which brings us to part 6. You are the next 1-minute manager.
So how do you bring all of this together in the real world? The big takeaway for your daily life translates to this. We are not just our behavior. We are the person managing our behavior. Always, always separate a person's intrinsic worth from their temporary actions. When you truly realize that the individual standing in front of you is inherently valuable, regardless of a mistake they might have made today, it completely changes how you speak to them. You can be ruthlessly strict on the standard of work while being deeply supportive of the human being doing that work. Striking that exact balance is the true mastery of this approach.
Now that you've got this powerful game plan in your back pocket, I want to leave you with a provocative thought to really spark your next interaction. Who will you invest your next 1 minute in? Will it be a 1-minute goal to clarify expectations for a confused team member, a 1-minute praising to catch someone doing something right, or maybe a strict but kind 1-minute reprimand to get a superstar back on track? Remember, the absolute best minute you can spend is the one you invest in people. Go out there and start investing.